Yep, still just as good as I remember it. Um, so this is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 2, Part 3. I had to turn the last two episodes into the third part because so much to talk about. Um, and so this is, SOS Part 1 and Part 2. I'll talk about the first part to start off with just because it does a very good job of setting up for it to be this epic climax. And I love when a show can do that. Because some shows, they just rush right into the climax, or they don't. There's no build up. It's just you talked about it. You talked about it. Here's the story. Here's the story, and then last episode's the climax. But this one, I like that they went two parts with it, so that way, obviously we've had story building up into this, and the first part is just it's setting the story, so the second part can just take it home and finish off the story. Uh, and they do such a great job of that. So first part, um, several different storylines obviously setting up. You've got Ward and Agent 33 have kidnapped Bobby, and you find out that to keep her cover in Hydra, back when she was undercover, she had to sell out a S.H.I.E.L.D. base. Um, and so the base that she sold out was where Agent 33 was, and that's why Agent 33 got inducted into Hydra. So, you know, you understand both sides because on the one hand, if Bobby didn't say anything, she wouldn't have been able to infiltrate Shield. She would have been, I guess, captured, taken in, um, and blown her cover. But at the same time, you realize why Agent 33 and Ward are doing this. That you know she did sell her out, and she is the reason why she's so messed up. Um, I mean, think about what happened to her inside of Hydra. The face mask getting burned to her face, getting brainwashed. I mean, it really, you do understand why Agent 33 is doing this. You kind of, you don't want them to hurt Bobby because Bobby's a part of the team. Bobby's a good guy. But at the same time, you do understand where they're coming from. So, kind of a conundrum. Um, but that storyline ends with, or in the first part, ends with Bobby tries to escape, and then Ward and Agent 33 capture her again, and Ward breaks her leg. Um, and then Agent 33 realizes that she can't just kill her, like, she needs to know how it feels to be hopeless. Because then, she wants closure, and just killing her wouldn't give her closure. And then May and Hunter find out what happened to Bobby, and they're on a mission to go get her back. Uh, things things start off in this episode very much. It's very action packed to begin with, because Sky's mother has just been shot by herself. Um, but everybody's kind of freaking out because they think that S.H.I.E.L.D. has started a war with the Inhumans. And you see the plan go into effect, and you realize that this has been in planning. Gordon takes one of the other Inhumans and boards a S.H.I.E.L.D. plane with just two agents on it, takes them out, and then takes the plane and shoots the building that Gonzalez's body was in to pretty much cover it up and also make it look like S.H.I.E.L.D. is attacking. Uh, and so it all, like, Sky ends up having to fight May because May is like, look, we need to figure out what's going on. Take me to Gonzalez. And Sky, her mother just got shot. She doesn't know who to trust. She is a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent still, but at the same time, she's grown to really care about these people, and obviously it's her mother. So she's confused, and so she fights May, which really, really exciting scene. Anytime one of these characters fights May, you're like, why? Why are you trying to fight May? May. She's gonna win. And May initially does win, but then Sky uses her powers and knocks her out. And so S.H.I.E.L.D. is kind of mixed. Coulson isn't really sure. He's trying to figure out, maybe Gonzalez, maybe he really did attack her. Weaver tells him about the peace offering, and Coulson realizes, he isn't that dumb. He's smarter than that. If he did want a peace offering, then likely he's not trying to start a war. And so they finally get video feed of Gordon and the other Inhuman attacking the ship and taking it over. And they realize it's Sky's mother's plan the whole time. And so they try to figure out what the plan is through Sky's dad, who's now inside of their base. They've got him in the room that Ward was in with the invisible wall. And so Coulson questions him for a bit. On the Sky side of things, she's like trying to figure out why S.H.I.E.L.D. would do this. Why did Coulson allow this? And her mother is just like feeding her lie after lie. And Lincoln too. Lincoln feels completely betrayed by Sky because he feels that she's the one with the connections to S.H.I.E.L.D. And S.H.I.E.L.D. has now attacked them. So Sky represents S.H.I.E.L.D. to him right now. So he feels betrayed by Sky. And Sky finally visits Raina because Raina was saying that death and destruction was coming. And so she realizes, maybe she really does know what's going on. So she talks to her for a bit. Raina speaks mainly in riddles, which I guess I understand, because if she had just straight out told her what her visions were, even if she wouldn't believe her, then Sky maybe wouldn't have gone to see her mother later. And basically what happens is Raina tells her, I'm going to help light the way. Every rose needs thorns to protect it, and she's got thorns on her. She's like, well, I guess in this case it's a daisy. So she kind of sees herself, she's seen herself as a protector of Sky, and she sees that she's going to light the way for Sky in the dark. And you finally come to realize that later when Sky's mom and Raina meet, and Raina's telling her, I'm going to reveal to everybody who you are. I'm going to show them exactly who you are. And Sky's mother kills her right as Sky walks out of the woods and sees this. And so I get that Raina couldn't just out and out tell her, because then maybe she doesn't go back to her mother and see this crucial thing. But still part of me is like, you couldn't give her more of a hint and speak less in riddles. But anyway, nitpicking. But that is, Sky finally figures out, her mother, she's the one that caused the attack. She's the one that, killed Gonzalez. He didn't shoot her. And of course, for figuring all this out, Sky gets knocked out and captured. And they put some power inhibitors on her wrists. And then Sky's mother and the Inhumans proceed to take out the S.H.I.E.L.D. ship. Gordon gets everybody there, teleports them there, and starts taking out, just, puts them all in place so they can take over the ship. And they do. And so that's kind of where it ends for them. They've taken over the ship completely, but you see Mac is still, he's not captured yet. He's still on board the ship, and he's still in play. So you know that I like to see that he's still there. Because in the last episode, he told Coulson, I don't want to be a part of S.H.I.E.L.D. if you're still the director. You're like, but Mac, come on. You really still blame Coulson for all this? And so it's nice to see that he's still there. He's seen what's happened to Gonzalez, and he wants to finish this score. He wants to settle this first. And seeing him not get captured, knowing that he's got a good part to play in this, it's kind of like, okay, nice. And so that's where it ends with them. Back at S.H.I.E.L.D., Sky's father has taken his elixir, and it's killing him. And so they take him upstairs, give him some epinephrine, and that's the final ingredient needed for him to become this, I believe in the comics he was called Hyde, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde type thing. And so he's officially become this monster that he's been trying to be, with the superhuman strength and all this. And so he attacks Coulson, Fitz, and Simmons. Coulson escapes. Fitz and Simmons leads him to the garage area, and Coulson traps him up against the wall with a car. And that's where that ends. So this is all the first episode. This is just building up into this final finale climax epicness. Okay, I'm gonna cover it one story at a time because it's the only way that you can really focus and pay attention to everything going on. And the Ward storyline with Agent 33 and Bobby actually gets resolved halfway through the episode, which is nice because we want to focus what's going on the ship. You know, the Inhumans are obviously the main threat. They want to just take out S.H.I.E.L.D. completely. Ward and Agent 33, they are a threat, but mainly to Bobby. It seems very much isolated. So I like that they just, May and Hunter go there, and they kind of deal with it within the first 15 minutes of the episode. Basically what happens, Hunter is now become the target of Ward and Agent 33 because they figure if they kill him with Bobby watching, that will really take the rest of her resolve away. And so they set it up to where if he opens the door, gun's gonna shoot him. Got a little trigger thing, like laser trigger. And so he does open the door, but Bobby, last second, moves her chair, which is chained to the floor, so it's like it can't move other than maybe a foot. And so she moves it the length that she needs and stretches out and gets shot through the shoulder. So it deflects the bullet away from Hunter. As for Ward and Agent 33, they're distracting the other agents so Hunter can, Hunter finds Bobby. That's what they want. And so Ward takes down one guard, Agent 33 takes down the other one, and May, she sees Agent 33 take one of the radios, and so she tells him, "Look, I'm gonna go to the south something corner where nobody is. Don't stay on guard until you see my face." And of course, no more guards left. There's only 3 that they took with them, and May and one other one are the only 2 left besides Hunter. And he's like, we're the only ones left. She doesn't know that. Agent 33 puts on the May mask, and it ends with Ward comes around the corner, takes a few shots. It's not May. It looks like May. It's Agent 33. So she dies in his arms. And you're just like, oh crap. Like you don't really see it coming. You're wondering, how's this story going to end? What happens with Bobby? She gets shot in the shoulder, and the very next thing that happens is Ward shoots Agent 33 thinking she's May. And you're just like, holy crap, that's a lot to take in. Like, hang on, let me think about that for a second. Let me just digest this information. And that's pretty much how that scene ends. And it cuts back to Mac. He's helped Skye get out of her where she was locked, and wants her to hack the signal because they're trying to. Skye's mother wants to broadcast this SOS signal, bring a bunch of S.H.I.E.L.D. agents in, just to break the Terrigen crystals, fill the whole ship with the mist, and so if they're inhuman, they survive, but if they're not, well, they're dead. So that's her plan, and you're like, well, that's pretty clever. Just the fact that she's trying to take care of S.H.I.E.L.D. That just, you get that, you understand. She sees them as a threat because she's been persecuted before, because she's not human, and she knows that S.H.I.E.L.D. sees Inhumans like her who really don't value anybody else's life but their own. Sees her as a threat, and you do understand her intentions. Her motive is very clear, and I like that they make it very clear. But that's her plan, is just to draw S.H.I.E.L.D. in and then kill them all when they get on the ship. And so Coulson. Well, okay, let me finish that really fast. So that's the plan. So Mac breaks Skye out so she can hack the signal. And before she can hack it, Lincoln finds her, and Lincoln's already questioning a bit because Sky's mother has just killed this S.H.I.E.L.D. agent uh, with a mist, and so he's already kind of questioning it. And Sky starts telling him all this stuff about how she's evil. She killed Gonzalez. She faked the attack. All of this stuff, and Lincoln fighting within himself, like trying to figure out is she telling the truth, and then Mac comes and hits him over the head and just knocks him out. And this guy's like, I was getting through to him, and he's like, I'm gonna hit people first, ask questions later. Like, Mac, you're awesome. You do you. Keep going, boy. You do stuff. Um, and that's what their relationship is. Mac is just he doesn't really understand her, but I'm glad that he's working with her and he's getting along with her despite her being different now. Because they were kind of throughout this whole second half of the season, Mac has been very much like afraid and what's the word? Not scared. Oh, I already said afraid, but he's been very untrusting, distrusting. I don't know what the word is, but he doesn't have a whole lot of faith in anything not human because of what happened to him first half of the season where he got possessed by the alien city. And so you understand why he's saying all this stuff, why he doesn't really trust Sky, but at the same time, you want him to trust Sky because she's trustworthy. She's a good person. And so it's nice to see him finally come full circle, and now he's working with her. And obviously, knocking Lincoln over the head is just him being him still. But it's nice seeing them work together. So they're still working on the beacon and what's it called? Disrupting the signal. I lose words a lot. I don't know why. Anyway, so that's going on in the ship. Coulson's talking to Sky's dad, and finally comes to this realization, which for me was a big shock. Sky's dad is actually not the monster that we think he is. Throughout this whole season, it's always been portrayed as because of what happened to Daisy, because she got kidnapped, because he couldn't find her, because of what happened to his wife, he turned into like this monster of a person and started killing people. It turns out everything he did because of Jia-Ying, Sky's mother. She convinced him to go kill all those people. She convinced him to give himself up, put him on the ship so he could take out as many S.H.I.E.L.D. agents as possible. So she is actually the monster, and he is just, it's almost like Frankenstein's monster, which is funny because the guy that created the monster, he's the one that put her together after she got cut up and lost all of her organs. He put her back together and gave her life again. So she's technically Frankenstein's monster in that aspect, but she's the one that created him as far as his rage and everything that he did, all the bad things he did. She's the one that made him do that. So it's like physically he's Frankenstein, she's the monster, but emotionally she's Frankenstein and he's the monster. So I love that they really did give him a good story, and it finally comes full circle in this episode. You finally get to see he is going to get his redemption because he's not the one that was at fault. Obviously he did terrible things, but it's because she is the one that really made him do it and convinced him that he was a monster. And so he finally says that he's going to help Sky, mainly because Coulson convinces him. Sky and her mother are obviously going to clash because they're so different, based on their view of the world and everybody that's not inhuman. So finally convince Cal, Sky's dad, to help out. So before they head out, Bobby gets back. Simmons is working on her, trying to get her back to health. Simmons and Fitz have a little moment where Simmons finally says, we never talked about what you said to me. And Fitz is like, you really want to do this now? And she's like, well, maybe when you get back. Maybe there's something. And so you're like, yay! Maybe there is something going on. And so they head to the ship. They get the signal that's being broadcast. Fitz intercepts it and realizes that Sky's giving them a message saying it's a trap. And then tells them about the Terrigen crystals, what the plan is, the fact that where the Terrigen crystals are. Did I say Terrigen? Nah, they're Terrigen crystals. Yeah, that's the right word. Um, Tells them where they are on the ship, and so Coulson, Fitz, May, and then a few S.H.I.E.L.D. agents are the only ones going in. The rest of the S.H.I.E.L.D. planes pull back. So they get on the ship, and basically you have like 3 different battles going on. You've got Sky finally catches up with her mother. No, actually, first Cal catches up with Sky's mother, and he told Coulson that this is a family matter. Let me handle my wife. You go deal with the crystals. And so he catches up with her. She pretty much says, get out of my way. You've had your chance. That's it. You have no more chances. And Gordon locks him inside of a room, and you see him like banging on the glass and breaking it. So you're like, okay, he'll get out there soon. Mac has gone and found the crystals, and has the best line in. Okay, second best line because Fitz actually has the first later. But Gordon has the second best line. No, Mac has the second best line. Gordon flashes into the room where he is, and he's sitting on the box with the crystals in it. And it's like, hey, you're Gordon, right? And Gordon's like, yeah. And who are you? I'm the guy that kills Gordon. And you're just like, Mac, you're a badass. You just keep going, man. You keep going. And you're just excited to see this fight. Sky catches up with her mother and finds her taking the crystals off the boat with the help of a couple of the Inhumans. And so before she can attack her, because she can't use her powers, another Inhuman steps across. Redhead, she can split herself into several people, which is pretty cool. But she ends up having to fight her in a pretty awesome slow motion fight scene, which they haven't really done slow motion a lot in the show. They've done it a couple times, but this is the first time they've used it in a fight. It's pretty effective because it was, it's cameras going back and forth, and you see Sky like fighting all of these different. It's the same girl, but it's all of her clones, and she's fighting all of them off. And they'll like slow down as she's swinging, and it hits, and then fights, slow down, hits, fights again, and it was very effective. Like I liked the action scenes that they gave her between this one and then the one I was talking about that they shot all in one shot back when they fought at the Hydra base. I mean, Sky gets some really awesome action scenes in this second half of the season, but it ends with her. She's like getting beat up by. There were like 5 of them. She takes down 2, and then the 3 of them that are left like start beating her while she's on the ground. Lincoln and May come up and help her out. Lincoln zaps one, May takes out the other one, and they take down the last one. And tells Sky, go. Lincoln zaps the arm things off of her, and May and Lincoln are left to fight the clone girl. That one ends pretty well. Lincoln has a very good line. May they're fighting him, and then more come, and she's like, "We're just gonna keep fighting him." Lincoln's like, "We gotta take him out at the source." Looks up, there's the main girl, grabbing onto a rail. May takes out her gun. "I got her." Lincoln says, "No, we're not bad. We're just misled." And I love that line. It does. I mean, it gives them a chance for redemption because they don't know. Sky's mother really did a number on him, and they don't really know what's going on. And so he zaps the pole and knocks her out. As far as Gordon, Mac is like doing his best to hold him off of the crystals, and then Fitz and Coulson get there. And Fitz has created this device that will keep Gordon in one place. It's got something to do with quantum mechanics, quantum physics stuff that only super geniuses would understand. But he's built this device to, lock Gordon into one space. And this is the best line, and mainly because it's from Fitz. Knowing Fitz, knowing what he's been through, knowing how great a character he is. Gordon zaps into the room, and Fitz hits the device, and he can't. He's trapped in the room, and Coulson like hits him when he zaps back to where he was before. Like, what is this? I can't leave. Fitz is like, science, biatch. And you're just like, yeah, go Fitz! Go Fitz! Yes! That was a personal, like, Fitz is my favorite character. And that is why. Great line from him. And maybe that's just me. I don't care. It's a great line. But that fight really ends very well. Because they're fighting him, and even though he's still trapped in that one space, he can still zap around inside the room. And so that's the hard part is, like you go to swing at him and he zaps behind you and hits you from behind, and then so they're still having difficulty fighting him. And at one point he zaps, opens it up, and you can see him like reaching really fast before they swing and miss him again. And Fitz goes to close it, and when he stands up, you see Gordon appear behind him. And he looks down, and there's a pole like sticking out, and you're just like, "That's not him. That's what? No, like that's not in him." And Coulson like looks, like in shock, and you're just like, "He's not stabbed. No, no, no." And then it starts to pan around. You see, okay, it's not in him. And pans around some more, it's in Gordon, and you're just like, oh crap, Gordon's dead. And so Gordon does die. And I just want to say, first of all, I don't appreciate the fake out. Trying to convince me that Fitz had just gotten stabbed was not okay. But at the same time, it makes for a good reveal when you see, you're like, why are they trying? Oh, that's why they were hiding. Gordon's dead. Scene is not over yet, though. Gordon is falling with the metal pipe inside of him, and you see in his hand he's got a crystal, and so he falls and drops the crystal. Coulson lunges and grabs it, and for a second you're just like, he's inhuman, and then his hands start, and you're like, no, Coulson, don't die. And that cuts off the arm with the axe, and you're just like, what just happened? It all just, like, unless you're really, it's hard to describe because it all happens so fast. 1 second you're like, Fitz? Oh no, it's Gordon. Okay. No, he's dropping the crystal. Don't drop. Coulson's got it. Wait, does that mean he's not changing? He's in you. Oh no, he's dying. Oh my god, his hand's cut off. It just all happens like in the span of like 30 seconds. And it's such a good scene to describe how this show really grips your emotions and just plays with them and toys with them. 1 second you're thinking that Fitz is dead. Next second you realize, Gordon's dead, but they might all die if the crystal breaks. And then you're thinking, oh, Coulson's inhuman. No, he's dead. No, he's not dead. And it just goes back and forth, and your emotions are just all over the place. So that is how that ends. His hand gets cut off. That's that. You're just like, dang, that was pretty intense. Not even done yet. And this all intertwines at the same time. Lincoln and May fighting the girl, them fighting Gordon. Skye has gone outside and found her mother as they're loading the crystals onto a Quinjet. And her mother's trying to convince her to join her. Think of how powerful we can be. The same old spiel that most like bad guys that think they're doing good, they always give that spiel to the good guy. Like, think of what good we could do with our powers. Think of how powerful we could be. And Skye's like, you really lost it. Like, it's not about protecting the Inhumans. It's about revenge. It's about getting back at the people that hurt you. and it's to the point to where you can't even tell right from wrong anymore. And then Sky's mother grabs her, and forgot in the first episode of this finale, they show that Gordon brings the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent that he kidnapped from the Quinjet that they stole. He brings that agent to her, and she's like been shot twice, so the wounds are pretty bad. Well, when she like grabs the side of his face, and you see like his face, just the color drains from it, becomes really gray, his eyes go dead, and you see her like just energy coursing through her hands, and then the wounds go away, and you see her like regain her health, and you realize her power is not to stay young forever, it's to steal life from people, and that's how she stays young. It's just constantly draining life. It's like, wow, that's pretty crazy. Well, as she's getting closer to Sky, like she's within touching distance now. You're like, Sky doesn't realize, she doesn't know what her power is, and so you're saying like, Sky, back away, don't let her touch you. She grabs Sky and starts draining her power. And at first, like whenever she first started draining her power, I was like, well, that guy died within like 3 seconds, so this is done. But then, this is a real nitpick because it can be explained, but she doesn't die nearly as quickly. Like her mom is draining for a good 15 seconds, and she's still, able to push away, and feels completely fine afterwards. But at the same time, I realize she is inhuman. She does have alien DNA, so it does make a bit of sense. It's kind of like why she's not crazy like Coulson is, because Coulson didn't have the alien DNA, so when he got injected, he went crazy. She already had alien DNA, she didn't go crazy. So it does make a bit of sense. I just wish they could have explained that so they can confirm what I think. But like I said, nitpick. But anyway, she's draining her power, and Sky summons her powers, pushes away, and blows the Quinjet off of the airship or aircraft carrier that they're on into the ocean. And then her mother starts to drain her powers again, and Sky like puts her hand on her, and you can see her shaking. So you can see Sky's like using her powers on her, and then her dad comes and says, "You don't have to do this. Like, I need to stop this mess I've created." And like has his hand on both of them, but has his hand on her mom's neck, and you can see him twist slightly, and she's like paralyzed, and you're just like, holy. She's like, "What are you doing?" It's like, "I'm keeping my promise," and like squeezes her to death. And it was just like this. The music in this scene is very emotional as well, so you kind of feel the emotion in it, and you can see just how much it hurts him, because it's like everything that he's done was for those two, and in the end he had to decide either it was his wife or it was his daughter, and in the end he had to choose his daughter, and you could just see how much it hurts. It just breaks him up inside. But he ends up squeezing her to death, which I thought was it makes sense that he does have kind of superhuman strength now, so I guess it does make a bit of sense. But I just thought it was a weird way for her to die. But that's how that scene ends, and it's just, like I said, very emotional. And then begins the setup into season 3, because you find Ward now he's at a bar, and these guys come in and say we couldn't find anybody else. Like, he gives them a list of a few names. He's like, these are all the guys left from Hydra. Like, all the heads are gone. No head regrew this time. And Ward like slams him on the table and says, "Look, I'm boss now." And they're like, "So what do you want to do? You want to just create chaos?" And he looks as a picture of Agent 33. He's like, "Closure." So you're like, okay, so that's where Ward's going. Daisy, you see her, Coulson gives her the information of, like the Inhuman Project, I guess. I don't know what it's called. But basically she's rounding up Inhumans and taking them in. And she realizes that her mother was right about one thing, that they needed to be kept secret. because people weren't ready for that, to know that some people within their midst are not human. That's kind of a scary thought, to think that, oh, this person right beside me could be an alien. Okay. So she understands that part, and that's kind of the thing that she wants, is that they need to be kept anonymous. You see Bobby recovering from her injuries, and this scene would have made a lot more sense had they carried through with it. Marvel were going to create another TV show based off of Bobby and Hunter, but so many fans wanted to keep them on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that they nixed that idea. But she said something that would have set up for it. She's like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. But anyway, so that's Coulson's talking to Andrew, May's ex-husband, talking to him about his team. Mac's in charge of alien stuff now, because that's the only way he can keep them on. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else happens. They all live on happy lives. Fitz and Simmons especially. They go get dinner, they start dating, and they get married, and they have kids. Nothing else bad happens to them, because this isn't Marvel. It is Marvel. And of course things don't end well. The final scene, which was we'll return in a moment, and they come back, it shows Fitz and Simmons talking, and you're just like, this can't be good. Like, this can't be good. This is not good. The fact that they're showing them together, that they're talking, this can't be good. So Fitz asks her to dinner, and she accepts. Says, okay, I'll talk to you about options in a second. And then she looks up and sees that the cage where this rock thing has been slightly opened, goes to close it, and the rock into water sucks her up and back into rock formation. And when I first saw this, I couldn't speak for it's kind of when so-and-so on The Walking Dead died, I was speechless for the next 15 minutes. That's how it felt. Because, first of all, you figure she's probably not dead, because then they don't kill characters off like that. But at the same time, it's like, this is going to change a lot. This is kind of a big deal. This is not good. They were just about to be happy together. And then you go and do this. You go and ruin stuff. So it really, I was like, this is not okay. And now I gotta wait like several months for season 3 to start. Thanks a lot, Marvel. But anyway, one more thing setting up season 3. The crystals that fell into the ocean, they infected the fish, and so when they created the fish oil pills, that's where they're going with that. And of course that happened in season 3. Fish oil pills revealing the Inhumans. But that was the season finale. Now, I did a lot of recapping, but I mean, every part of these 2 episodes is important. There's no scene that, they put it in there and you're like, why was that in there? Like, you could have used that elsewhere. No, the action scenes were great. The story leading up into it was great. The build up to it was amazing. And the resolution, even though, it wasn't completely resolved because of everything they were building up into season 3, the resolution of the story for season 2 was really good. The way they finished with Sky's mother, the way they finished with Gordon, the way they finished with Agent 33 and Ward together. It was all just so well done, in my opinion. And they really handled the characters well. You kind of see, I guess, where all their character arcs have taken them now. You see, Fitz has now created something that... Who else would have thought of that? Only Fitz, at his best. And at the beginning of this season, you thought that he was never going to get back there, but now he is. He's back to who he was before. Simmons has come full circle. She had this spell where she was like, anything alien needs to be eradicated. And now it's like she wants to work with it again. She trusts Sky again. Mac, same thing. He didn't want to work with anything alien. Now he is in charge of it, so he can keep an eye on it. And even obviously Mac and Bobby not wanting to work with Coulson and his Shield, and now they're willing to. It just it all comes around, and the way they handle it is just so good. That they don't make any big mistakes. They don't pull any same old cliches. If they did, it's some of the cliches that I don't know. And they just, the story generally got me interested. It kept me watching week after week. And even though, yes, they left it on a huge cliffhanger, which obviously that makes me want to come back and see what happens to Simmons. But even without that cliffhanger, I was still excited to see what was happening in season 3. Where are they going to take this next? You've got Civil War approaching. So, where are you going to go with that? Are you going to divide Shield amongst each other? How is that going to work? And so that's just, like I said, they handle this show very well. They don't make any stupid mistakes with the characters. They don't take the characters in any direction that you're just like, no, that doesn't make any sense for that character. Um, and I mean, the only show that's really come close to this is the one I'm wearing, The Walking Dead. I mean, the way they handle the characters on that show, obviously really good. The way they handle the story, they don't make any stupid decisions unless they decide to keep a certain character alive, which in my opinion just, I don't want him dead, but stupid decision. And so, I don't want to, it's hard for me to say that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than The Walking Dead because they're so different, but I feel like as a show, Walking Dead may be a little bit better, but because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is not only able to play off the movies, but it has to tie into a larger universe overall, I think that it does such a better job in doing that because everything has to tie together. You have to, they make references to the Marvel movies. They show what's going on in the Marvel universe at that time. Stuff like that is happening in the TV show. So, you know, there's not much more I can say about it. It's a great show. If you haven't watched it, and for some reason you've watched all these reviews, go watch it. It's on Netflix. Go do it. Because I mean, rewatching seasons 1 and 2 on Netflix have really just given me perspective. Going back and seeing everything that happened before what's happening now, going back in time and being like, wow, this show is a lot different back then. It just really shows you that they've come a long way. And things have changed, yes, but that happens. So, but that's pretty much it. I guess my next thing I'm gonna do, obviously I have a couple of shows coming on tonight, but as far as these full season reviews, I feel like the other show that I've talked about, The Walking Dead does deserve a review for the first 5 seasons. So I will likely do that eventually. I've been watching a lot of Netflix, so I'm going to take a break from that for a second. But as soon as I get watching these again and going through them, I will get you those season reviews too. So, alright. See you guys in the next one. Peace out.